Hi, this is Naomi Andrag. This is an example on graphing a system of inequalities. Here's our system. Y is greater than x and y is less than negative x plus 5. So it's two inequalities that I'm going to be graphing on the coordinate grid over here. And what I'm interested in here is what makes both inequalities true, what points make both true. So I'm going to be looking at where the two graphs would overlap. And I've got an online graphing app here that I'm going to be using. So starting off, I just graph 1, and to graph y is greater than x, I'd first have to graph the line that is the edge of the graph of this inequality, and that's y equals x. Now, I have a few different options. I can graph this using points that make it true, like 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. All these points along here would make, let me undo that. All these points would make this equality true if I have y equals x. But I could also graph it using y-intercept and slope. Here the y-intercept is 0, 0, and the slope is just 1, since there's no coefficient in front of x. Or if you want to think of it as 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, you can graph it that way. Start here, go up 1 over 1, and then you have the graph of the line. See right there. You couldn't graph this one using x and y intercepts because it would give you the same point. So if you let x be 0, then y 0, you have the point 0, 0. If you let y be 0, then x is 0, you have the same point. And you need 2 points to graph it. So that strategy is not going to work for this particular line or any line that goes through 0, 0. And then the last step to graphing this inequality y is greater than x is to shade the side that makes it true. Also, I didn't make this dotted. It needs to be dotted. So greater than x means not equal to x, right? It can't be greater than and equal to unless you have greater than or equal to. So I actually need to make my line a broken line or a dotted line. And so it's going to look like this when I graph the inequality instead of being a solid line. I have to figure out which side makes it true, and I can really just pick any point on either side. So if I pick a point, maybe 0, 5, I just put that in. So if I use the point, let's see, 0, 5, I would put it back into the inequality. Y would be 5, and then x would be 0, and I'd get 5 is greater than 0. Well, is this true? Yes. So I'd want to shade the entire side containing that point. Now if I plugged in a point over here, I would get something that's not true. Something like 0 is greater than 5. Well, that's not true, so I'd shade to the other side. So you just pick any point on one side. Now to graph the second inequality. I'm worried about overlap, so I'm going to undo this, but just remember that that's where it was shaded. To graph y is less than negative x plus 5, I can first graph y is equal to negative x plus 5. I could use points. If I put in 0, I get 5, so maybe 0, 5, 1, 4, 3, 2, and so on. I could use the y-intercept and slope. Here the y-intercept is 0, 5. And the slope is going to be negative 1. Or if you want to think of that as negative 1 over 1, you could do that. Or I could use the y and x, or x and y intercepts here too. I'm not going to go through that right here. So here, if I'm going to do another broken line, I know the y-intercept's 0, 5. I know the slope, oops, I'm still on shade. 0, 5. I know the slope is negative 1, or negative 1 over 1. So I get this line right here. And then I have to figure out what side to shade. Let's say I pick the point 0, 3. Well, 0, 3, if I put that in, 0, 3, I would get, let's see, y would be 3, then I'd have negative 0 plus 5. 3 is equal, or actually I want to have less than, right? So 3 is less than 0 plus 5. This is true. So this is the side of this line I would shade. So if I were just going to graph that inequality, it would look like this. Now I'm worried about overlap. So this is the only place where it overlaps, and that would be what the graph of this system of inequalities would look like. Okay, I hope this helped. Bye.